Good afternoon. What I would love to talk about today is whether or not your market can afford your high ticket offer. Is it a 10K? Is it 100K? Is it $1 million? I have spoken last time about one of my clients for whom $1 million, that's an aspirational high ticket offer for her. And I actually have a colleague who has $1 million offer. So what specifically I wanted to get into is I have somebody I'm working with right now. And when she first started working with me, I said, I'd love to help you to create your high ticket offer. She said, well, probably you're going to scold me for saying this, but what if I said, I don't think those people are on my list right now. Those people aren't in my network right now. And of course, I didn't scold her. I lovingly said, I'm going to respectfully disagree with you that I do think that they are in your network. So where are those people and how do I get in front of them and all that? Like, those are the natural questions that come up when we talk about a high ticket offer. But I wanted specifically today to talk about one idea that I think is really compelling around this. And that is the idea that they can't afford it. My clients, they're different than everybody else's. I know my clients cannot afford a high ticket offer. That's what I hear all the time. I worked at a place called Coca-Cola Refreshments Moscow, and I was the market manager for a territory of about 20 million people. And one of the really interesting things that we learned there was that if you said to somebody, because that Coca-Cola at the time especially was a foreign product and it was really expensive relative to all the other offerings. So definitely a premium price. And when we were doing market research, if we said to them, can you afford Coca-Cola or do you think it's expensive? It was a little too confrontational a question to ask. So that the cool thing that we did was we learned to ask the question, would your neighbor pay this much for this product? So vicariously through this supposed neighbor, they would be able to answer us honestly. And that was our attempts to get at a truthful answer. So always think that that's pretty interesting to say, people assume that their market wouldn't pay it when vicariously what they're really saying is, I can't afford it. I wouldn't pay that for it. And that's an integrity and an alignment issue, right? If you feel like I don't pay prices like that, then it's time to look at yourself, because certainly it's going to be difficult to attract premium clients and people who want to invest in high value programs if that's not something you're doing yourself. It's not, you don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money. I'm not saying that, but I am saying you need to be aligned with a belief that it is it's valuable and it's worth it for you to invest in yourself and your business, or yourself and your health if you're a health coach. We need to model for our clients and our behavior what we're doing. I want to share with you this expression that the Russians used, which is "Не считай чужие деньги." Don't count somebody else's, a stranger's money. And what that means is it is none of your business what is in somebody else's pocket and what they choose to do with your money, with their money. There's a really well-known coach, and I'm going to go ahead and name a name, Ramit Sethi, who I read a long time ago. This is years ago on his blog. He basically said, I don't want anybody to go in debt to buy this program. So if you have to put this on a credit card because you don't have the cash, then you shouldn't buy it. I felt at the time like, all right, that's interesting. And then more recently, probably a year ago, I heard another coach, Taki Moore, talk about the lengths that somebody went through to work with him. I think they sold some of their stuff in order to save up the money to be able to work with him. And I thought, well, that's a heroic gesture. And if you really have the confidence in your program, then you can you can imagine that somebody might want to go into debt, take a loan, put on a credit card, the investment to be able to work with you. And at the end of the day, it isn't our business whether they do that or not. It is our business to help them make a decision which is in alignment with them. It's our business to align with the fact that we're giving value, which is commensurate with the price that we're asking. And then that's that. So I'm not saying that we should work with people who can't afford us by any means. I'm saying that a lot of times when I say, I think you need to raise your prices, then somebody who's charging 25K says, nobody will pay me 50K for this. And I feel like, what would they pay you 50K for? What kind of transformation will people pay you 50K for? That is the challenge. It isn't that they won't pay it. It's the question you need to ask yourself is, will they value it? What would they value? And that to me is where we get into something interesting. I'll tell you a mindset that I had to overcome around this. I have done high ticket programs since literally my first project as a consultant. I had left corporate. I was burned out and exhausted and never wanted to do anything ever again. And I got this really appealing call from former colleagues, and they said, we're doing this authentic sailing cruise in the Aegean Sea. It's this special event that we're going to invite these our European clients to, and we need to brand that event. Would you like to come and do it? And it involved traveling all over Europe and being on the sailing ship in the Aegean Sea, and this really creative branding project. And so I was like, yes, of course. That was, you know, a $70,000, $80,000 project in the end. That engagement, my very first consulting engagement. So it was natural for me to think that a thing that's a high value creative assignment is a high ticket engagement. So all of my further engagements after that, they were also high ticket. However, here's an interesting thing is when I stopped working so much with corporations or with large clients and started working more with small businesses, and now so many of my clients are either a single entrepreneur or a small partnership or a small firm. I had this idea that those clients needed, like high ticket for them was a different number. So high ticket for these clients was 60, 80, and high ticket for these clients was smaller. What I noticed was I was on behalf of these small businesses, I was in their pocket. I was counting strangers' money. I was assuming that they couldn't afford or wouldn't invest this kind of money in themselves. And because of that, and this is a thing that I share all the time, the reason we want to charge high ticket is because it's in the highest good of all concerned. Because what happens is that they bring their biggest commitment to the work. You bring your highest level of value to the work. And everybody benefits. Like they're able to succeed. That almost always has a ripple effect. In my work, they're better able to attract and serve and help more clients and customers. To me, it's so meaningful when we're able to get adults healthier, because then that has a ripple effect on their families. And I just think that's like magical and wonderful. Relationship coaching. I mean, if you can transform adults' relationships and then that goes on to serve their children, that to me is what's behind high ticket. The gifts that you've been brought here to deliver, you need to serve at your highest level, and having a high ticket offer allows you to do that. You are really able to bring the bigness and the fullness of yourself through to your clients. So interestingly, when I was working with those small businesses and deciding on their behalf that this needed to be a small number, this needed to be a 10 or a 12K, here's the deal. When I started charging 60K to those same clients, 100K to those same clients, the magnitude of their results was amazing. So a 5X return on increase in their business. Probably, let's see, I'm trying to think of a 10 times return on the investment. I was having to do a little math there real quickly. So once I got over that limiting mindset, I was able to serve better and make a bigger impact. And so I'm encouraging you to look inside and see where you're making decisions on behalf of your clients in advance of them making that decision. Let them make their own decisions. Не считай чужие деньги. Don't count a stranger's money. Don't get in anybody else's pocket. It is their business to invest with you, and it's your business to come up with that transformational experience, that transformative offering that would, you know, make the biggest possible impact in the world, the one that you're intended to make. I appreciate your joining me today for this. I think you can tell it's a topic that I'm super passionate about. I just feel like people put a lot of toxicity around the idea of money and a lot of stigma around it. And in fact, it's just an indicator of impact. If we use it right. And I'm only speaking to ethical entrepreneurs. You know this about yourself. You're bringing your heart to your business, and I want you to be honored for that contribution. So if you know that it's time for you to make an even bigger impact, then the kind of grounded earth rules way of doing that is to look at what a price is. So I look forward to reading your comments and to answering any questions you might have. And I hope you will go right now, take a little walk in nature, go spend some time in meditation, and think to yourself, how can I serve bigger, better? How can I deliver a deeper level of transformation? Because that's what your clients want from you. Thank you.